200 sit-ups, 200 push-ups, then up and onto the bar for 100 pull-ups. No jerking, smooth and clean. He returned to the mat and began a kata, a stylized fighting routine that Buddy used as a final stretch. Midway through, the sliding doors opened across the central pool from his own home, and his newest neighbor stepped onto her veranda. Her kimono-style robe revealed a long expanse of slender legs bare to the cold spring morning. Buddy had noticed her before. There was a lot about this raven-haired beauty to notice. She cradled her steaming mug and eyed him with the cool gaze of a cat studying a bowl of fresh cream. Buddy stepped inside and shut his glass to a temptation he definitely didn't need, especially not today. Buddy showered and dressed. Brooks Brothers navy suit, starched pale blue shirt, rep tie, polished black loafers. Out the door, smile a meaningless hello to the raven-haired beauty as she drove past in her Lexus, into his Jeep, and off. His sister lived in a ground-floor apartment carved from a mock Victorian home that they both had loved at first sight. Carrie's portion had a front parlor with a castellated tower of pale yellow brick. Nobody knew where the color had come from. The bricks had definitely not been fired from the fingernail-red Central Coast clay. Some developer had recently decided the 2-acre yard would make the perfect site for a 15,000-square-foot altar to some nouveau riche ego. But Carrie and her neighbors had taken their fight to City Hall and won. Carrie emerged from the front door before Buddy cut his motor, which meant the day was not a good one. His assumption was confirmed by how Ricardo slipped from the house behind her. His sister's latest flame was from the Dominican Republic, by way of Los Angeles. A blade-thin mestizo and impossibly handsome. When Buddy had first met the man, he had assumed Ricardo was either gay or an assassin. Instead, he was another in his sister's long line of musician lovers. But there was something about this one that rubbed Buddy wrong. Ricardo leaned on the front banister and smoked, his dark gaze smoldering with a cigarette. Buddy had learned the hard way to keep his opinions to himself, even when Carrie slipped into the car and said, "Give me a minute." "No problem." They drove in silence, the tires humming the high tune of wet asphalt. Buddy stopped by the Starbucks closest to her home and went in for 2 coffees, a black Americano for him, hers a hodgepodge of caramel and chocolate, and the calories she normally refused herself. When he returned, she took a sip, sighed, then leaned over and kissed his cheek. "Good morning, brother." "Better?" She sipped again, then asked, "Did you land the deal?" "They signed on Friday." She gave his shoulder a mock slap. "Why didn't you call me?" "Didn't have the strength to lift the receiver." "Does Pop know?" "I dropped the contract off around midnight, went home, slept forever." "Did he call?" "Not a peep." "He's probably—" She tried to drown the thought in her cup. "Still trying to find something to complain about," he finished for her. "But he won't. The deal is solid gold. It doubles the group's income, sis, and returns us to profit." "Stand back, folks." Her smile was genuine. "The genie is out of the bottle." He pulled into the church parking lot, waved to a family he'd known all his life, and asked, "Ready?" Her smile went from open to compressed. "I can't let you face this alone, right?" "Not today." "That's him, there on the church's top step." Preston Sturgiss pointed through the front windshield. "Jack Helms." The city community church was a massive edifice that dominated the intersection. The man that Preston pointed to looked pretty much as her cousin had described, stern and unbending. Kimberly asked, "If you dislike him so, why are you having lunch with him?" "I told you. Beth asked me." "His wife," Kimberly recalled. "The driving force behind our new counseling center," Preston confirmed. "In her own quiet, sweet way, this lady is a mover and a shaker." "And Beth Helms asked you to set up an appointment with me, a woman she's never met, before I've even shown up for my first day?" "Right. That's her, standing beside him." Jack Helms stood on the church's high veranda, showing all newcomers the granite exterior of a man who lived to judge.